if I can make $200 a week on tips, I can cover the child support.
Right.
Actually, if I make $200 a week in tips, I can still afford this place by myself. So, we'll see. You ever get to play Fury?
Not yet.
Not yet. Surprised you're going back to this one.
I'm not. I'm doing a review on it.
Cool.
The fuck is that other phone of mine?
Apparently, if you beat all of the mercenaries missions on AAA, you get a lightsaber.
Fucking dual-bladed lightsaber, yeah, just one more thing to fucking ruin the goddamn game.
I've also heard that beating it AAA without a goddamn keyboard and mouse is damn near impossible.
Yeah, well, shitty gamers always want to use keyboard and mouse as an excuse why they're good.
Because people on PC can get the AAAs easy, people on console are having a bitch of a time with it.
Yeah. All you gotta do is adjust your aim sensitivity settings and stop being such a bitch.
Apparently, Mercenaries mode shouldn't have been first-person point of view.
Where in the fuck is that other device?
Mercenaries in 6.
Mercenaries is fine. It just adds a
It's fun in
extra little spice thing. It was fine in 4, fine in 5.
I liked 4. Yeah, I never played it. I never played 5. So
It was a good addition, just something that just.
I couldn't imagine doing it first-person point of view. That just. I don't like that they took the game to FPS anyway.
Weird. Normally I'm on top of that shit. Anyways, now that roommate is done talking and gone, we can, there it is, get started. So hello and welcome back to the channel. We are going to be reviewing Resident Evil Village and breaking down the game from beginning to end. The good, the bad, the shit, the stupid, you know. And hello, Triple B. Yeah, you're making dinner? Yep, it is, yeah. It's appropriate time. Yeah. All right, mic check. All right. Seems everything's good. Even though I started talking before I checked. Anyways. try not to make this too lengthy, but maybe it is going to be lengthy. I don't know. So Resident Evil 8, it starts out with a story time, Tim Burton-esque tale. And whereas you could link connections to the game through this story, it ultimately serves no purpose. There's no little girl. There's a baby. And there's no vampire bat. There's infected mold lady that drinks blood. And flies. So, yeah, the big fish, I mean, Moreau was a big fish. So, okay. They got that. But you could just take that entire Tim Burton-esque story out. The Village of Shadows book, you could just throw that away. And you'd be able to start the game faster. So, even at the end of the game, they give you a little bit more of that story, which is still stupid. And we'll hit on that at the later points. The game opens up, and you are Ethan Winters again. No surprise, because, they said they were going to make a trilogy with Ethan. So, yeah. Play as Ethan. You're now living in Europe somewhere with Mia, and you have a kid, Rose. The baby is gigantic. It's a big kid. But whatever. I mean, that's just me. I think it had a really big ass head. But that doesn't take away or add to the game. You get your little winter family, and that's fine. And then you start to eat dinner or whatnot, and then the lights go out, and bullets start flailing in, and Mia gets shot up a few dozen times. And Ethan, doesn't really make that much of a reaction while she's getting shot. So immediately I'm thinking Ethan's still a bland-ass character. Then you find out Chris Redfield and his team come in and shoot up Mia some more, and then steal the kid, and then knock Ethan out. And they kidnap him. Now, the problem with all of that is you meet Chris a few times throughout the game, and he's trying to tell you to stay the fuck away from all of this. Just stay away. You go away. We don't need the civilian here. Blah, 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 blah. And, that blah, blah, blah was for Triple B. We're going to put it in there because that is accuracy. So, if you didn't want him involved, why kidnap him? Why transport him? You should have just took the dead Mia. If that's what you wanted to do. Because that's what I gathered from Chris's entire ordeal. He wanted to kill that. Which we find out later on is Miranda as a shapeshifter. So he wanted to kill Miranda. And that's fine. But why take the entire family hostage if you're unsure that Miranda's dead? Because you don't know the extent of the powers that she holds. But anyway, you, as Ethan, awaken and your vehicle is wrecked. The other person is dead, and no Rose, no Mia body, no nothing, just you and a flashlight, and you refuse to pick up the phone that you answered earlier and put back on the ground. So That was weird. The opening section, when you start to get to play, outside of like carrying your baby up the stairs and putting her to sleep and shit like that, but when you actually start the game, Ethan's flashlight is pointed more towards the ground than eye level, and that's obnoxious because you're trying to see, but your flashlight is pointed down, and he's not hunched over, he's not, on his fucking knees, he's not looking down. It's just pointed at a weird ass angle, and that persists for the first like 5-6 minutes. Luckily, it doesn't do it forever, because that was rather obnoxious. Go through the woods when you see something dart out because your flashlight's pointed to the fucking ground like a moron. And then you happen upon this village. Village gameplay is fine. Yeah, they stole some elements from RE4, but you know what? It's Capcom. They can do whatever the fuck they want with their old ass, material. It's fine. I don't care. They don't do it every game. They just did it again. So I'm fine with that. I'm not mad that the village sequence was pretty much the same thing as the village sequence in RE4. The survive until the clock runs out thing. And that's fine. That gives you something to look forward to on another playthrough if you want to do that. And I was wanting to do that, but the game took a turn for the worst later on and completely killed my enthusiasm to replay this piece of shit. So, yeah. You meet this dude before you have to survive the little werewolf encounter thing, and he shoots a shotgun at you, right? You open the curtain and he fires a shotgun, and it completely misses you. Now, either this dude has blanks, or bullets phase through Ethan, because it's point fucking blank. And so it was a bad choice on their part. But anyways, yeah, that's just another little stupid fucking thing that happened. So after you survived the little horde encounter with the werewolves, well, before that, Ethan gets his goddamn hand bitten halfway off, so his left hand is a little fucked up now. He's missing his pinky finger and half of his ring finger's bitten off, and a good portion chunk of that part of the hand's gone too. And yeah, he reacts a little bit. He says, "Oh shit," blah 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 blah. But that's it. He's got a 3-second reaction to a vast amount of damage to his body, and then he never ever acknowledges it again. After the horde sequence, he wraps it up with a bandage, and magically his ring finger is no longer there anymore. And I don't understand where he got the bandage from. They don't tell you that. They also shoot him with an arrow in the thigh, which has no physical damage at all. He rips it out of his fucking thigh, and his pants are fine. There's no blood. It's a weird choice, and something that just, if you're gonna bite his fucking hand off and have blood, then why the fuck doesn't he have blood in his thigh? Their choices for the damage in this game were just weird. And you start to think that Ethan's a little bit more than just a normal human, which, fine, whatever, that's what they want you to do. But if you're going to let your character react to the first few moments of that pain, let them react again. And let them acknowledge it at least, just something. But we'll touch back on that as well. So you go to the castle after that, and the castle sequence is fine. You meet the Duke. He seems to know everything that's going on and gives you absolutely nothing aside from like an audio cue of what you're supposed to be fucking doing anyway, if you needed it. Go to the castle. You meet the Fly sisters. I only remember Cassandra because I don't care for them at all. And they all kind of look the same anyway. And yeah, maybe one was named Daniela. Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of irrelevant. So you do that, and then once you meet the little Fly sisters, they take sickles and stab it into your fucking legs. Underneath the knee, right on the leg, somewhere around there, and then drag you off. And Ethan just winces a little bit, like once again, barely acknowledging some pain. But whatever. Then you meet Lady Dimitrescu, and she sucks on your hand a little bit, tastes your blood, says you're almost spoiled. Like, that's okay, whatever. The game just started and we're almost spoiled. Like, and no other context towards that whatsoever either. So, just weird ass dialogue thrown in there for the fuck's sake of it being thrown in there. And Ethan is impaled through his hands on some little hooks behind him. And he says ow a couple of times. But then he just, waits for them all to leave, and he rips his fucking hands off these hooks. And he doesn't say ow anymore, right? he just fucking grunts through it. And whatever, maybe he's a badass. I don't know. Nobody knows. Then he heals himself with the old little fucking first aid med stuff, and that's fine. And when you inspect that, it tells you that the little goop juice stuff cauterizes wounds and makes the functions of the damaged areas, function again. So it repairs stuff. It's a very fast healing solve. And so I can buy the fact that he ripped his fucking hand in half and it's healed again, because that's what the heal juice does. That's fine. Okay, whatever. I'm also just going to throw in that maybe it has a good bit amount of anesthetic, because what's some healing stuff without some anesthetic? So yeah, don't even acknowledge that pain anymore. That's fine. If you healed yourself, that's good. Castle sequence was fine. You get a little bit of like being chased and hunted and haunted by all four of them, and it's fine. You got some enemies there, and that's fine. Little ghouly type dudes. Castle sequence was good, minus Ethan and pain. Lady Dimitrescu also cuts off his right hand, and he goes, "Oh shit," "Oh shit," and grabs his hand and throws some more hill juice on there and puts his hand back together. Which, okay, whatever. Castle sequence was good stuff, for the most part. You meet the Duke in there again. He starts upgrading your weapons and stuff. He has inventory to sell, bullets and heals and weapon upgrades, weapon parts. Like, the Duke was good. merchant has returned. Sort of, not the merchant from RE4, but, there's another merchant, and he's fine. He's fine. There's no problem with the Duke, aside from he doesn't even know what he is. And we're not going to get any answers for it, which, what the fuck ever. Up at this point, there's not been any kind of I wasn't scared at all. I was tense, was trying to live through some stuff, so a little bit of survive for the horde encounter, and then the castle was just collect all the things and get the fuck out of there and kill all the things. And, that's fine. So far, I'm not getting any horror survival aspects on that main thing. I did play on standard, so maybe I should have played on hard. But changing the difficulty should not give you that survival aspect that they were, harping on. So we got a bunch of stuff from that. Ammo was never a problem. Healing was never a problem throughout the entire game. So I don't really have a survival. I didn't really get that, just like I didn't get it in RE7. And the horror thing, didn't get that, just like I didn't get it in RE7. There's a couple of jump scares in this one, just like there was a couple of jump scares in the last one. But, I mean, once again, I grew up with werewolves and vampires. And an ugly-ass fish ain't gonna scare me. But the next thing which you go through is the dollhouse. The dollhouse is by far the creepiest shit the game has to offer. And it lasts 20 minutes. If you know what you're doing, less than 10. It's a very short sequence, but it's creepy. So if you take your time, you can be really creeped out. Not really scared, but it's creepy. It was a good fill. Like, maybe there will be more of this. But after you beat the house, there's no more creepiness. It's back to ghouly dudes from the castle, some flying dudes from the castle, and werewolves again. And it's just, I want to call them lichens, so lichens, sure, why not? And it's just, they're not scary. The werewolves howl, so when one's near you. They growl and stuff, so when one's near you. And the ghouls, they pretty much come out of the earth, so when one's about to come to you. Flying dudes, you can see them off in the distance, so you're never caught off guard by that. The enemies were just there to use your bullets and go on. That's it. Give you a little bit of money so you can just restock yourself and just go through the cycle again. So, still not scared. A little unnerved by the old dollhouse, but that's it. Next area you go to is Monroe's place, and it's a fishing hamlet. And it's just a puzzle place. That's it. It's not really tense. It's not really spooky. It's not scary at all. It's not anything fun. It was quite boring. It was gross. That's what it was. It was kind of gross. So I'll give it a little bit of point for that. Just being fucking nasty. Hi, kitty. Hi. You're drooling there a little bit. Yeah. You're fine. But yeah, you do a couple of puzzles. You get to the boss fight. Alright, Triple B. It'll be going on for, maybe another 25, 30 minutes or something like that. Anyway, we're pretty much almost at the end anyway. yeah, thanks for hanging out. So yeah, you fight Monroe, and then that's over with. You go to the next place, which is fine. You know, the pacing of the game was fine, but then it's just fight a bunch of werewolves again. Fight the enemies you've been fighting throughout the entire fucking game. There's little to no variety in these things. The ghouls have the most variety because sometimes they wear a cloak, sometimes they don't, sometimes they got drills on their arms, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're wearing headpieces in the factory. You know, the ghouls have variety, but the enemies don't. So it's still lacking a little bit. So you go kill all the werewolves. That's fine. You collect all the little Rose's little flasks, which is weird because now your kid has been sharded into 4 test tubes and you're trying to piece her together, and Ethan isn't questioning this at all. He's just going with it because that's what the Duke told him. And he's just like, yeah, gonna collect my kid. And it's just weird. Like, Ethan didn't think he was anything special, or he didn't know that his kid was anything special, so like, he just didn't have an honest reaction to it all at all. He just accepted it and was fucking moving on. So you get all of that, and you go to the factory to meet up with Heisenberg. Heisenberg offers you some friendship. Now, is it genuine? You don't know. But, I mean, he says he wants to kill Miranda, and he's pretty mad when he says it, so a normal person would just be like, yeah, I believe you. And he didn't steal his kid. Chris Redfield did. So why be that mad at Heisenberg? But he is. So he tells Heisenberg to go fuck himself, and then you do the factory sequence. Cat, you're fine. Up there. And I know you don't want to be up there, and that's fine too. But yeah, factory sequence was the we're going to give you a bunch of ammunition and shit, and we're going to throw a bunch of enemies at you, and it was the most, well, not the most, it was just a action-packed sequence. Was it tense? Yeah. Because if you ran away from little drill dudes, then they wouldn't go away. They would chase you for a while, and they would still be there. So yeah. Factory area was, I mean, it was good. You got something to do. You know, you had things to kill, you had things to collect, and you didn't just have to just solve a puzzle and then do a boss fight, or you didn't have to walk for 10 minutes and do a boss fight. It added another lengthy section to the game, which the game needed. Because if it wasn't a lengthy section, the game would be like an hour and a half long without speedrunning it. So, yeah. Then, at the end of the factory, Chris tells you the whole story of that wasn't Mia, we didn't kill her, that was Miranda in disguise because she has mimicry due to the megamycete. And of course, we don't know what the fuck that is. But, you know, Chris keeps spouting it. And, you know, he tells Ethan to stay underneath the radar and then gives him a murder tractor. It's just, the dialogue is just weird in this game. Like, they say something and then you do pretty much the exact opposite of that. Or they'll tell you the same shit 3 or 4 times, and you're like, yeah, I know. It's fine. I know. Why are you just talking in circles? And then you fight Heisenberg, who is a gigantic metal monstrosity of fucking parts and pieces, and that was just look at it and shoot him. Like, yeah, you can move around a little bit, but not really necessary. Unless you didn't want to get hit, but you can block, so yeah. That boss fight just, it really made no sense to me because Heisenberg was trying to help you, and he still wanted to help you. And then he was tired of helping you, or tired of trying to help you, so now he wants to fight you. Like, that train of thought does not go very well. If he wanted to kill Miranda, he should have just took his goddamn transformer form and went after fucking Miranda, because he knows where she's at. He knows all the things, you know? So why stay there and pick a fight with Ethan that you could lose, that you're going to lose because Ethan is the plot? It's just another weird option that Capcom decided to throw in there. It's just weird. And then after that, Miranda comes up, and you got a little cut scene, and then she pulls your heart out, but you're bleeding from your kidney. So I don't know if Capcom knows where hearts are, but you know. And she didn't stab you in the chest, she stabbed you in the abdomen, lower parts. So like, it was strange. And then, you know, Ethan dies, and I was a little happy about that. Slightly, a little bit happy that they fucking killed him. But I knew the game wasn't over because the credits didn't roll. So there's still a chance that they're going to disappoint me. Then after that sequence, after the Heisenberg and the Miranda thing, and she just shapeshifts to a bunch of shit to let you know that she's been watching you the entire time while you're playing. She transforms into crows, transforms to the old hag, you know, into Mia, you know. She's been there throughout the entire fucking game. And you're like, oh, that's fine. And she was also helping you. Okay. Why? Because she wasn't offering you to join her at all, ever. So why would she help you? Once again, it's just a little weird. But after that, you get a cutscene with Chris Redfield. And Chris looks a little bit more like Chris. He's acceptable in this game. Too bad he sounds too much like Carlos because it's the same voice actor. Like, if you get more than 2 words out of Chris Redfield in this game, you're instantly going to recognize Carlos from Remake 3. And if you haven't played that game or haven't seen that game, you're not going to, really, because you won't know what the fucker sounds like. But I do, and that's all I heard. After, you know, the 3rd word. It's just a bunch of Carlos and a Chris Redfield skin, which is weird. But okay, whatever. Aside from that, voice acting's fine. I mean, Nikolai voices Heisenberg, and you can damn sure tell if it's Nikolai. It sounds like Nikolai with a fucking cold. That's it. He's got a little bit of a stuffy nose, and it's Nikolai, and they turned it into Heisenberg's voice. So, yeah, maybe they should have got new people for that, or maybe they should have directed them to not speak like their older characters. Maybe, you know, just something different. Ethan sounds fine, Mia sounds fine, Miranda sounds fine, the Duke sounds fine, and all the other cast sounds fine. Just, I have a problem with Chris and Heisenberg. They don't sound fine. They sound like Resident Evil 3 Remake people. Which, you know, whatever. It's just a little gripe, not too much of a big one. The big gripe is once you start playing as Chris, you go straight from maybe semi-horror survival to guns blazing Call of Duty fanboy fuck you up epic style, right? Chris just walks and blazes through all these lichens like it's nobody's fucking business. It's fine. If you like that type of thing, felt like it was unnecessary and they could have done it better just with a long ass cutscene, because I didn't feel like my gun taking 7-8 bullets to kill a goddamn lichen in the head and Chris's takes 2 to 3. Just felt like he was made more powerful, and no, like it was kind of a kick to the ball sack, but ultimately unnecessary. So you do all this thing with Chris, you go through the entire village again, you see the Mega Mice site, and you plant a bomb on the motherfucker, and then you run away from planting the bomb thing, and you find yourself in a little underground basement storage shed shack thingy, and it starts piecing together all the lore, which is kind of dumb. So you get a booklet for each of the bosses, and that's fine. That's fine. You know, they all fell at what Miranda really wants, but they're created, so just keep them. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. That's cool. Then you walk over and you see this fucking picture with a bunch of fucking people on it. It's black and white. And you get a little note that says, hey, this is Spencer. And that didn't sit right with me. Now, it's nice that they're trying to tie in the Resident Evil lore with this game. They're trying. But Resident Evil 7 set up the connections. That's what Mia was doing. She was working for the connections. The connections did the mold. So you're going against your own fucking lore from the previous game to try to connect lore to the first fucking game. When we've been thinking for the last 4 years that it's all the connections. We're finally going to get the other dude that's not Spencer. But, no, they just tie it all to Spencer. And it felt misplaced. But yeah, so they tied up their story there. And then you meet the real Mia, who's wearing the exact same clothes as fake Mia was wearing when she was shot and killed. Who knows how long she's been here, because they don't fucking hit on that. Was it a day? Was it 2 days? Was it a week? Was it a month? Was it fucking 6 months? Is Rose even her kid? Like, how many of these outfits do you have? They don't answer any of that shit. And after that, you get this weird scene with Ethan. And it's like in a fucking... It's in his head, right? And you see Evelyn in kid form, just like mocking you and shit. And she reveals that Ethan died in Resident Evil 7 because Jack Baker killed him. And they didn't show you that Jack Baker killed him. They showed you Jack Baker knocking him out and then dragging him off. But they didn't show him kill Ethan. They showed him trying to force feed him some gross ass mac and cheese. But yeah, like they tried really hard to say that Ethan was dead and that he was resurrected by the mold when Ethan didn't even ingest the food and he was never like infected throughout the game. He was only subdued by the mold. Like they just want you to believe that he was infected because they just said that he was infected and dead in Village. Which, if you're going to try to tie in story to make it believable, you have to make it believable first. You can't just say, this is how it is because I want to say this is how it is. You're not going to get people to believe it. You're not going to get people like me to believe it. You'll get Muppets and fucking window lickers to believe it, sure. Because they're just playing the game for the game. And they'll be fine. They're not trying to say this is the 28th game in the fucking Resident Evil franchise. Can it please be good? Can it tie in some shit? Can it answer some questions that the previous game failed to do? Can we get a proper Chris Redfield? Can we get, anything at all? And yeah, we get a couple of things. But they story explain Ethan is just a gigantic fucking mold dude, right? The mold creatures in 7 didn't really shriek out in pain when you blew off their arms and legs and their head. They just died. And I don't know about you, but me personally, if something doesn't fucking hurt, I'm not going to pretend like it did. But they wanted that plot twist of Ethan's dead and he is a mold-infected super being to be a surprise. But they sold that poorly as well. They just, whatever. And now Ethan's alive and he gets to go fight Miranda, and that boss fight's fun. The Miranda fight is fun. It was a good fight. I mean, yeah, she had a couple of different forms. She had an easy shooter in the face button to win, but it was a fun fight. She kept shit talking throughout the entire thing, and he kept shit talking back, and it was okay. Sorry, I got a message. Anyways, so yeah, you beat Miranda, and Ethan's trying to fucking slowly wither away and die, and he takes the goddamn detonator device from Chris. Chris is leading him out and shit, and sacrifices himself. Now, I have a little bit of problem with that, because throughout the entire game, Ethan has been immune to explosive damage. Okay? I hit myself in the fucking leg with a pipe bomb, took no damage with it. Blew myself up with a grenade launcher, took no damage from it. I didn't do it on purpose. It was just, shit, there's 4 enemies in front of me. Fucking throw a bomb. And yeah, so I am under the influence that explosion damage does not work on him. He's just immune to it. So he takes the detonator and he blows up the fucking bomb. That's explosion damage. I'm convinced Ethan's not dead, even though his fucking body parts were withering away like mold creatures do when they finalize their death. But yeah, it's an open ending that could or could not be. And then you get some credits rolling after Chris takes Rose to Mia in a helicopter and they fucking fly away. And the Megamycete blows up. and the entire village is consumed in this ball of fiery death. That's fine. Whatever, they concluded the village. They blew up the megamycete. They killed all the infected lords and shit. They finalized the mold. Except for the fact that Rose is a super mold creature. Because Ethan put his DNA into that kid. Because that's how kids are made. So you get a scene of Rose a good 16 years later. They don't tell you how long later, but she looks like she's between 16 and 18. So, yeah, she visits Ethan's grave, and she gets into it with her little personal chauffeur for a little bit, saying, I've got powers, even Chris doesn't know that I have, blah, 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 blah. And then her little chauffeur radios in and says, it's fine, it's under control, blah, 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 because, you know, they have a sniper out there that can just fucking shoot her. Which, more weird shit, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. For all of that, just like, if you're that terrified of Rose, who has yet to kill anybody, who has yet to freak out, if you're just that prematurely worried about her, why even let her out of the box? Like, that's my thoughts on it. But they drive off, and then a little figure comes up, and the vehicle stops. No doors open, anything like that, and then the fucking credits roll. There are some theories that that figure is Ethan, and there's theories that that figure was the sniper. Now, it makes sense that it was the sniper, but there's also people that have delved into the game that I don't trust the footage on, because to do this, you gotta be on PC, and PC, you can mod the fuck out of anything, but it shows that it's Ethan, right? If it's Ethan, cool, whatever. Just clarifies that he's immune to explosive damage, which is my theory. And it took them 16 years to walk from fucking buttfuck Europe to wherever the fuck they are now. So, credits roll, and then you get more Village of Shadow book story ending, which shows that the mother and father are fighting for the kid, and the kid was the one with the golden dresses and shit like that. It was weird and unnecessary. You didn't need that in the game, because that's not depicting Ethan, and that's not depicting Rose or Mia, and it damn sure ain't depicting Miranda. But that's what they want you to believe. But you could take that fucking Village of Shadows book and throw it out the fucking window and erase it from the fucking game, and nobody would miss it. You just wouldn't have the first 5 minutes of the game, because it bears nothing to everything else. It only resembles that there's maybe a vampire, maybe a big old fish, and a metallic horse, which, yeah. But RE8 made the same fucking mistakes RE7 did with Ethan. He's a boring, bland, uninteresting character with a little bit more of a voice rework. So they tried, but they ultimately failed with their entire plot and story that they wanted for Ethan. He doesn't work as a character for me. He's truly unbelievable and just boring. maybe there's people out there like that. I don't know. Probably. Sure. But, I mean, nah. Not a believable person for me. So they failed on the horror survival aspect again, but Capcom said that they wanted to make RE8 way less scarier than RE7 in a fucking news outlet, right? RE7 was not scary. Unless you're terrified of the color black and are deeply stricken with fear by southern accents. That's it. There's one fucking jump scare in RE7, and that's dealing with Marguerite, and she was kind of creepy as shit with her everything that she did. So that's fine. But the game's not horror at all, and I'm sorry for those of you that are scared by 7. I don't know. I don't know why you're scared of it. It was not scary. Playing it in VR might get you a little bit more jump scared, but that's it. A jump scare does not mean horror. It's just a fucking sharp sound effect or flashing image or all in your face type of ordeal. Horror is there's a fucking xenomorph on your ship. Good luck. That's what horror is. Okay? When you're fucking scared, you've got horror. Not jump scared. So, RE8's got jump scares. Not really a lot of them. And there's like 3 and they're all over the place. And it's whatever. So it's not a horror game. I played on standard difficulty and just... We'll do the same thing I did with RE7 just to show you. Oh, it's gonna give me all my shit, isn't it?
Gifts we gave, but
No. Okay.
took,
Well, that was dumb. Can I just leave this game? No, I can't. Yeah, I did say something. Can I quit the fucking game? Thanks. So load then. Okay, so where's our... We'll just load this one. That's fine.
I gotta go.
Okay. So we're gonna look at our inventory, wherever the fuck that button is. There we go. Survival means you don't have a lot of shit. In order to be a survival game, to hit that survival mark, you do not need that shit that I have right there. Also, I didn't craft a single fucking bit of ammunition. I made like 2 or 3 hills and 1 fucking pipe bomb. I never needed to craft ammo because I never ran out and was... Oops, I'm fucked out of luck now. No, I ran out of ammo 1 time, but that's because I fought a dude and reset his HP 4 times. So yeah, that right there, no survival. None. When I can make when I can make over 300 rounds of ammunition and fucking 10 plus fucking bombs, and a handful more goddamn hills, like, yeah, They toned down the hills a little bit in this one than they did in the other one, so thank fuck for that. They tried, but they still failed. They failed so bad. So, Resident Evil 8. Is it better than 7? Yes. They tried to do a little bit more. They gave you more than just a fucking house and a boat. Yes, it's better than 7. But is it a good Resident Evil game? No. It is not. You take the Resident Evil title out of there, just like you do with 7, it makes it a better game. Resident Evil is the thing of bioweapons and nightmares, you know? Not friendly-ass little lichens and goddamn vampire ladies. Flies. You know? It's big-ass, nasty fucking BOWs and transforming stupid-ass fucking Simmons and fucking regenerators and fucking, you know, Irving Wellfish weird-ass tentacle thing. You know, that is the Resident Evil universe, not this shit. So I'm disappointed in this game. It tried to do more, but ultimately failed on everything that it tried to do more on. So, yeah, Capcom, you tried. But the people that have played all your other games in this franchise, you let them down. Is it a fun game to play? Yeah. It's just not a Resident Evil to me. And fuck Ethan. So, you know, normally we do shit out of 10. PlayStation has told me that shit is a triggering word, so I can no longer put that in my titles. I'll have to re-edit it for Twitch, upload it, and all that other good stuff. But yeah, so whereas I think Resident Evil 7 is a shit game, Resident Evil Village did improve, so it is just a bad game. Your normal games for me, like my rating system is way different than everybody else's. A good game, a par game is 5. 5 is a solid game. Cool. It met expectations. It did some stuff. Cool. 7's an awesome game. 9's a damn near perfect game. 10's never exist. And 1's don't exist either. And I've never played a 2 game, but they do exist. Like Quiet Man, that's a bad game. That's a 2. That game is shit. So the final score for Resident Evil Village, it will share the same fate as God of War 2018 at a 3 out of 10. It's not quite exact shit, but it's close. It's close. But yeah, that is my review of Resident Evil Village. So, thank everybody for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Later. Fucking hour again.